from the Daily Mail. Trump derangement syndrome to be studied under new bill. How to tell if you've got symptoms. Symptoms of so-called TDS. Yes, they say finally to get to the bottom of this, Rep. Warren Davidson from Ohio introduced the Trump Derangement Syndrome Research Act of 2025 to study the phenomenon. TDS has divided families, the country, and led to nationwide violence, including 2 assassination attempts on President Trump. He told the Daily Mail in a statement. His proposal seeks to leverage the National Institute of Health's existing programs to study the purported disorder. Were you familiar with this one?
I was not. This is new to me. And Warren he's a good friend. He's one of the more brilliant members of Congress. My guess is this is sometimes members will file a bill that's like just making a statement. I think that's
can't force a vote on it, can you?
I mean, not without really making a lot of people angry.
See, that's the one thing that really makes me want to be in Congress, just for one term, so I can make everybody angry. I would cause a scene. The problem is people might enjoy that I'm there and want to keep me there. I wouldn't want to stay,
Yeah.
But, those 5 minutes you get in those hearings, I'd probably be paddle balling, just doing weird stuff. And, and I'm like, guys, honestly,
5 minutes.
I got 5 minutes. And I'm gonna get a record for the most amount of paddle balls in 5 minutes. Film it. I want to put it on X. That's my goal.
Bring a skateboard and just do ollies right on the floor
For 5 minutes.
For 5 minutes.
Fingerboard right here. Let's get some tricks in.
That's Riley
very
Moore should
Alex
do.
Stein.
Yes.
That would be very Alex Stein to do.
Alex Stein should run
He should.
because he needs to be sitting there and yelling at everybody.
He could troll Dan Crenshaw every day.
That's what we need. I don't know if he could win though. Maybe.
Who knows?
I mean, maybe his campaign can be, guys, look, it doesn't work. Just send me. Who cares?
Yeah,
Have you seen
what's the difference?
Have you seen the girl that is running against Crenshaw in Texas, Valentina Gomez? Have you seen
Oh yeah, I think we've had her on the show a couple times.
She is really fascinating to watch and hilarious.
You are too kind. She is hilarious. She is hilarious. But look, I know that the House is where people can be more colorful and have more personality than the Senate. The Senate's got their nose in the air.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure that Valentina is ready for the House of Representatives.
Why?
Because she's a nutbag.
I mean, she's kind of spicy.
She is kind of spicy.
The entertainment value.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I'll tell you, when she was running for like state Secretary of State in Missouri a couple of years ago, and like after the first speech that I saw in front of a forum in front of all these Republicans, I was like, that was a very different speech. It was hilarious. She's really funny, but and so each time, well, she was making some people mad, and a lot of people had that attitude that what is she doing? She's not going to win. There's no way. I'll tell you, every time she would get up to go to give a speech, I would elbow the person next to me and say, "This is going to be good." This is going to be good.
Look, I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe she would be like Donald Trump and she would get in. But I do think unless it's a very safe Republican district that she's running in, I wouldn't want to risk losing a House member because
That's fair.
the House is the lead is so narrow now. So personally, that's my opinion.
You don't think she'd be reliable?
No, I'm not sure that she would win, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
So if it's a race where unless it's very, very safely Republican
No,
district.
she's a based Zoomer queen.
What district is Crenshaw in?
I don't know the numbers there, but yeah.
He is in District 2, Texas 2nd.
She has an edge because she has a third eye.
It is R plus 12. Let's go.
I think at this point, the American people will take anybody other than status quo.
Yeah.
I think the American people are sick and tired of normative politicians.
I'd take Mary, and she's a woman.
Over Dan Crenshaw? I would hope
that's
so.
easy,
Yeah.
I think you're right, and I think that one of the things that we've been talking about this a lot is the fact that Donald Trump has shown that presidents can do things. Like for a long time, presidents would get elected and they'd be like, "Oh, I couldn't do it because of this, or I couldn't do it
They're
because of
just
that."
puppets of the intelligence community.
Yeah, and now the American people are like, "No, I don't believe you anymore, because Donald Trump went in and made all these executive orders. And of course, it's up to Congress to codify them. But whether it be stuff that makes the right happy or it makes the left happy, like the prescription drug stuff that he just did, like that's something that can be done, and that presidents have been, or politicians have been promising forever and ever. And Trump has shown that, look, if you are motivated to do things, the president does have fairly expansive powers. And if Congress or if the judiciary fights you on it, you can fight them back, legally in the court and stuff. So
Right now, Donald Trump, his administration, are trying to take any possible interpretation of the law they can to move their agenda forward, while the judiciary is creating unconstitutional universal injunctions to do whatever they can to stop the executive branch, and Congress is sitting on the bleachers eating popcorn.
This is true.
There's supposed to be a third branch to intervene and be like, whoa, hold on. And I suppose what we want to see is the codification and legislating that is towards Trump's agenda, but it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and the answer that we are given from leadership is that, well, that'll never pass the Senate. So they make the political calculation ahead of time, and the reason is then when they backtrack it, they say, well, we don't want to put our vulnerable members on a bad vote or on a vote that might cause them conflict, and so therefore we're not going to take that fight unless we can win it.
Democrats had a committee to go after J6ers. Republicans have never had a committee to go after the far left, notably the M29 insurrectionists who firebombed the White House grounds in St. John's Church. And they nearly torched a historic church. They torched a guard post at the White House. Nothing.
the Democrats made fun of it the next day.
They did, yeah.
Bunker Boy. They called the president Bunker Boy because he was being attacked by far leftists. The White House was being attacked by far leftists, and they moved the president to the bunker, which the Secret Service is going to do. The president doesn't have the ability to stop them, and then the media makes fun of him for it. It's insane.
I think the Republicans are making the wrong calculation. I think being more ferocious and controversial, you get the people behind you. You know, it's not, and I think there's a lot of them are afraid that the way they're going to be viewed, the way their colleagues are going to view them, they don't want to be, seen as too extreme, too MAGA. But this is a different time. I mean, you have to get the people behind you, and that's what the Democrats do. They rile up their base, they get behind these pet issues, and they get extreme, and it works for them, and they're very, very tenacious.
I think it's my fault.
Pardon me?
I think it's my fault.
Shame on you.
I think that what we need to do on shows like this is just actively primary anyone who stands in the way. And that is our fault, because what they're scared of, the calculation that you're mentioning, is the New York Times is going to write bad things about me, and then I'm going to lose my race. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, let's see what we here at the Timcast IRL can do to your race if you want to side with the New York Times.
Hear that, House Ways and Means Committee?
So I guess we'll just have to start. I talked about doing it before, but I think the issue is the corporate press has no problem being overtly political and causing these problems for people who fall out of line. And for shows like this, we're all disparate. We're all independent. We don't coordinate with anybody. The New York Times is one big top-down thing. Maybe we need to. Maybe we need to start putting some of these members on blast and say, we're going to make sure you never win another race.
They're politicians. Like they're like cows. They're not going to move unless you create some kind of penalty or some kind of force to move them.
Yeah.
Whenever I first ran for the state house in Missouri, I was the people that give you advice, the advisors, the longtime political consultants said, okay, don't really take a position. Like they would tell you to be very vague in your positions so that you don't box yourself in. And then they would tell you when you're elected, don't sponsor anything very difficult, and certainly don't co-sponsor, because everything you do will more likely have a negative consequence. So don't do anything controversial or big. And that's kind of been the mantra and the attitude. Trump, I think, has changed that. And I think the American people have been sick and tired of politicians who just want to keep their job.
Yeah.
And because that's the attitude of somebody that just wants the job. It's not the attitude of somebody that's trying to save the country. And so we need more people that want to save the country and are okay with the fact that it may mean that they go home.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how we get more people into Congress like that, but I do think that the idea of primarying people for, not following through or doing things like, that are, say, again, anti-Second Amendment, I don't see any problem with at least bringing it up on shows like this and making people aware, because for the most part, your average person doesn't know who are the actual people that are responsible for, why didn't this pass or why didn't this bill get pushed forward? Like, are there responsible people? And there are people that are responsible, even if it's, and it usually comes down to just a few people or even one person that had the connections to be able to say, no, we're going to put this on the shelf, whether it be the speaker or whether it be the chairman of a committee or something like that. And those people need to be put on blast when they do things that their constituents don't like.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.